country of Georgia applies so-called territorial system of taxation for individuals. That means individuals are taxed only on their Georgian source income, and if an individual receives the income which is classified as foreign source income, such income is not subject to personal income tax in Georgia. But we should not understand foreign source income the way like it sounds literally, any income which comes from abroad to Georgia. This is not like that. The Article 104 provides definition of Georgian source income. By way of exclusion, we can conclude what is foreign source income. For example, if a type of income which we are analyzing does not fit to any paragraph in the Article 104, then we can conclude that this is foreign source income and exempted from personal income tax in Georgia. This definition is frequently opposite of how we can understand logically what is foreign source income, especially regarding active type of income. For example, a service fee according to 104 article is Georgian source income if it's received by Georgian tax resident. So if a foreign client pays service fee to a Georgian tax resident, that is Georgian source income. Also, if a Georgian service provider is not a Georgian tax resident, but service were factually rendered in the territory of Georgia, that is also Georgian source income. For example, a freelancer lives in Georgia 5 months during a calendar year, did not become a Georgian tax resident, but the service fee received during this 5 months work from a non-resident client also is considered as a Georgian source income. Also, service fee is Georgian source income if a service provider is not a Georgian tax resident, was not factually in Georgia, but incurred expenses related to provision of such services in Georgia. Employment is Georgian source income if an employee was territorially located in Georgia more than 1 month, even if an employer is foreigner. So as you see, regarding active income, the logical and literal understanding of foreign source income is not applicable. We need to see the concrete definition of Article 104, and only after analyzing this article we can make conclusion whether our service fee is foreign source income or not. So if you are a tax resident of Georgia, or if you spend significant time in Georgia and receive service fee even from non-resident client, most likely that may be considered as a Georgian source income. So 0% personal income tax may not be applicable, subject to individual analysis, of course. But in that case, you can consider so-called small business status, 1% personal income tax, which applies up to $500,000 Georgian lari annual income. But even in such a case, you need an in-depth analysis because not every type of income qualifies under 1% tax. For example, if your income is classified as a consulting fee or partly consultation, or can be also classified as a wage instead of service fee if you have only one client or one main client. And there are some other cases which you need to analyze to make sure that there is no significant tax risk associated to enjoying 1% tax. Territorial taxation is more, let's say, relevant regarding passive type of incomes. So if we are talking about dividend, interest, royalty, also capital gain from reselling stocks, capital gain from reselling crypto, that in many cases can be considered as a foreign source income if such income is not related to Georgia. For example, dividend is a foreign source income if a payer of a dividend is not a Georgian resident company. So if you receive dividend from foreign company, it can be non-Georgian, so foreign source income. But here you need to pay attention that not any type of income which you in a form of dividend can be classified as a dividend by Georgian tax authorities. For example, if a person registers a one-man company outside of Georgia, let's say Hong Kong, where he is a shareholder, only director and employee in this company, and receives dividend from his one-man company, that may not be classified as a dividend according to the substance of operation. So Georgian tax authorities can apply so-called substance over form principle and can reclassify this income as a service fee, for example, not as a dividend. So you pay attention to whether this dividend can be actually classified as a dividend according to form of operation and its substance. Also, royalty can be foreign source income if it's received from a foreign client, and we need to see definition of royalty which is provided by Georgian Tax Code. Regarding stock, if I have a stock or security related in a foreign company and I sell those stocks and get a capital gain, most likely that is tax exempt in Georgia, and the same about crypto. So both regarding stock sale and crypto sale, there are separate public decisions of Georgian Minister of Finance. They usually say that such income is exempt from personal income tax in Georgia, but regardless of it, there are nuances in the legislation you need to consider before making final conclusion that okay, your type of your capital gain from stocks or other securities or from crypto is actually exempted from personal income tax in Georgia. To conclude, Georgia really applies territorial taxation for individuals. That means foreign source income received by individuals are not subject to personal income tax in Georgia. However, any income received from abroad is not considered as a Georgian source income according to a legislation. Before deciding that our income is Georgian source income or a foreign source income, so taxable in Georgia or tax exempt in Georgia, we need to look at the Article 104 of the Georgian Tax Code, analyze our case and see whether actually, based on the definition provided of Article 104, our income is Georgian source or foreign source income.